How's it going, darling? So I don't think I've ever covered this on the channel before, but I absolutely love Transformers Animated. I love the characters, I love the designs, I love how it reinvented different concepts of the Transformers canon. It was just an all-around fantastic cartoon. It was what lit the fire for my love for the series as a child, and might be my favorite Transformers cartoon to date. Something else I really love is the 2010 era of Transformers, with Reveal the Shield and Hunt for the Decepticons kicking off. So many of those figures were just absolute home runs. And one day thudded along this massive manifestation of the fusion between the two, so let's go nuts for this big lug. It's Reveal the Shield Lugnut.
Those accursed Autobots will pay for their insolence!
Now, Lugnut was introduced in Transformers Animated, along with his immediately memorable loyalist demeanor and hulking cycloptic design. So let's sneak a one-eyed peek at him, shall we? Firstly, I'm digging the color scheme with the bluish green cool gray complemented by the striking cartoony purple, and seasoned with a bit of red, both translucent and opaque. I guess I would have rather had the toy feature more purple throughout, like his animated counterpart, but I get that this is supposed to be more of a real-world-ish World War II style version of the alt mode. Like, I take it there aren't many purple bombers out there, so it works for what it is. Just looking at it, you can tell there's so much character and presence packed into this design with so many unique features, such as these claw toes, which themselves are articulated, and the foot can move all over the place. The legs look nice as well, being able to jive the Lugnut strut. I love how somewhat skinny his thighs come across that only accentuate the pure beef of the rest of the body. I suppose if you bend his legs too far, you expose this gap here, but it's not visible unless you're looking at him from directly above. So please, chill out. The torso section is really where the party starts to knock it into full throttle. I appreciate the front and center purple utilized on the lug gut, and I endlessly adore these angled front of a plane side pecs here. I can't imagine this looking any different. Like, this just is Lugnut. Same thing goes for that handsomely chiseled face sculpt here. The moment you see this, you know who this is. I love the singular optic and pronounced chin trying to compensate for his overbite on his skull-like mouth. Also, a hugely rare feat from non-beast formers, his mouth can open. It's also great how they managed to give him a bit of a hunched look, like his head is buried in the chunk that is his upper body. And get a load of these huge engines posing as his shoulders. How could you not love this? It's in your face and commanding and suits the character wonderfully. The arms also achieve their goals solidly, and it's amazing that they look this good and strong considering that they're made out of the alt mode wings. And the hands are just fantastic. There isn't really any wrist movement, but that's barely an issue when it's got individually articulated Ninja Turtle fingers. You can use them to wave, make him look like he came up with an idea, reach, and punch. It'd be intimidating enough to eat a knuckle sandwich from these thick metal wrist sausages. However, if that's not enough for you, this toy features a spring-loaded punching mechanism. The articulation is admirable. It does what it can with proportions this preposterous. I think the only part that's lacking in any manner is how the arms can't bend backwards. Everything else though, from the head to the waist to the hips to the hands, it's very strong. Now as a Reveal the Shield figure, Lugnut is contractually obligated to have a shield to reveal. And by shield, they mean faction symbol, right here on his arm. Give it a good ol' amount of rubbing, and looky here, a Decepticon. Wowza. I guess the only thing left to mention is how he's backpacking this entire end section of a plane right behind him at all times. I suppose it's not too obtrusive, and it is the only thing about the robot that's less than ideal. I can manage, especially when the robot mode is overall this amazing and awe-inspiring. This is a basically perfect upgraded toy that Lugnut absolutely deserves. It looks the part, it's fun to move around, and it has so much character and love put into it. Lug? The transformation works super good with a satisfying clasp to the front section and the way the toes bend in on themselves. The arms particularly are kind of revolutionary in a way you don't really see on many plane formers. The only part that gives me the creeps is pushing in and out this tail section when going into either mode, since you really gotta yank it. But all around it's nothing but full-on Lugnut delight. And the alt mode is nothing short of just straight up mean. It looks large and threatening and it gives off the character's personality wonderfully. Move over, Biggie Cheese, the new Mr. Boombastic just dropped. Adore the raspberry red front section topped by these two cylinders of destruction. The aggressive shark mouth paint also adds a bit of period appropriate lack of elegance to it. And I'm pretty sure this is a shout out to the Transformers animated Atomic Lugnut toy. So bonus points for making that deep of a cut here. And this might be the longest wingspan I've ever seen on a plane mode. It just looks great and wide. I don't know what else to say about it, really. I was about to make a joke about how unsubtle this name tag is, but you don't go to Lugnut looking for subtlety. The only thing subtle about this metal monster are the sculpted in bits meant to represent paneling, bolts, and all that stuff for the sake of realism. I'm digging the atomic yellow, green, and black striped warning indicators on the side of the engines, and the back section does what it must with these 3 fins jetting out in different directions. Now this toy features an attack gimmick for the alt mode as well, and it involves peeking out this inappropriate looking missile launcher. I don't have the missile, but who needs it, you know? Who cares? Not me. But yeah, this is definitely a bombastic bomber ready to blow your mind. It's an astounding alt mode that really feels so different and unique to my collection. In fact, unique is just the word to describe this toy. There's really not much else like it. Everything from the long World War II style bomber plane mode to the transformation to the hunched gorilla-armed Polyphemus-looking Paragon is so unusual, it truly is one of a kind. This toy is also very compatible with other toy lines as well. He can blend in pretty seamlessly with your Movieverse, Prime, or Generations figures pretty well enough. Outside of the absurd prices this figure sometimes goes for online nowadays, I definitely recommend it. Looking at it as the Voyager class toy that it is, I personally think it's a must-have. And if you can find it for a decent price, which I know is hard, you won't regret it. And once again, I just have to gush over the fact that they made a Generations-ish version of a Transformers animated character. That's just spectacular. I'd love to see more of that kind of stuff in the future, giving Generations level figures to non-G1 characters, because as Hannah Montana would say, you mix it all together, and you know that it's the best of both worlds.